Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. I'm Mark Nuce. Thanks so much for joining us today. With us on the program, we're proud to have the President and CEO of Catholic Social Services. Rachel Lustig is with us. And Rachel, thanks so much for dropping by.
It's my pleasure, Mark.
First of all, for those, maybe there's someone out there, I'm sure they've heard of Catholic Social Services, but they're not sure exactly what your mission is and what you do. Tell us about it.
Catholic Social Services is an organization that has been serving Central and Southern Ohio for 70 years. Our efforts help low-income and vulnerable seniors and families reach their potential. And we are here to provide service for people of all faiths and backgrounds.
And it's a big job.
It's a fun job.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about it. I know that you focus on families and on seniors. Talk a little bit about some of the support that you have for vulnerable families. Absolutely.
So our families come to us with all the strengths and all the desires that most of the rest of us do. They want their kids to be safe and to have opportunities and go to school, but they're dealing with some challenges that are preventing them from reaching their potential. Could have been an illness. It could have been a loss of a job. They may have moved here. Or they may be dealing with some instances of trauma or violence in the home. So Catholic Social Services provides one-on-one types of approaches to help people uncover or overcome some of those barriers that they face and reach their potential. We have probably two distinct service lines. We do community center efforts, and then we have more intensive counseling and case management efforts for people.
And talk about the community aspect of it.
Absolutely. We have two community centers. One of them is on the west side. That is the Our Lady of Guadalupe Center. And one of them is in Portsmouth, Ohio, and that is our St. Francis Center. So Our Lady of Guadalupe Center works predominantly with the Hispanic population. These would be new immigrant individuals who've come here. And they may be struggling. What brings them to the Our Lady of Guadalupe Center is often food. They need food to support their families. But Catholic Social Services, through the center, provides a wide range of opportunities to help them get to a place where they don't have to come back to us for food anymore. So it could be English classes or help getting a job or health types of supports and all the wide range of things that could be impacting any family.
And talk a little bit about the senior services that you provide.
All of our efforts are about helping low-income and vulnerable seniors stay in their homes as long as they can. But we also are about not just the mechanics of that, but also about the purpose. So we know that low-income seniors want to stay in their homes. Every senior wants to stay in their home. They want to grow old in a place that they're comfortable. They want to continue to do the types of things that have been meaningful their entire life. So we help with just the supports that they might need. Maybe they need transportation assistance, or maybe they're struggling to get benefits as their health starts to waver. We'll connect them with a wide range of opportunities that can support them. And then in addition to that, the leading complaint that seniors have is that they just get isolated. They no longer have the mobility that they used to. They may not be able to drive anymore. So last year, Catholic Social Services mobilized 110,000 hours of people visiting homebound people.
Just a human touch.
Absolutely. And it's amazing what it does for people. I know that I'm one of 9 children, and I don't do well if I'm by myself for 3 minutes. So I can imagine just how much that means if you may not see a person for a few days or even a week. So having somebody stop by and check in on you is so life-giving. And in fact, it's proven that people who are isolated have higher rates of chronic illness, higher rates of depression, and ultimately have shorter lifespans.
You know, it's interesting because last week on the program, Chuck Gehring was here from Life Care Alliance, and we're talking about pretty much some of the same issues, keeping people in their homes and the social benefit, not only to them, but to society in general of keeping people in their homes and maybe out of nursing care. Talk a little bit about some of the benefits to society in general.
Absolutely. And Chuck Gehring is a good friend and an excellent partner of ours. So we work together very closely to be able to provide a lot of supports to these same individuals sometimes. We'll be doing some of the money management, and they'll deliver the meals. So it's wonderful the way the community works together. What happens is in order for somebody to stay in their home with additional types of supports like what Catholic Social Services can provide, we can do it a lot more affordably than what happens when somebody needs to go into a nursing home because they get sick or because they're starting to deal with just aging.
Yeah.
So, the cost is a fraction of what it is to be able to stay in your home with these types of supports. And we're in the midst of a very rapidly growing aging population. In fact, in the next 40 years, we'll probably see the population of seniors in our county and in Central Ohio double. So we've got to figure out affordable ways for us to care for our seniors. And both Chuck and I and many in the community, we mobilize a lot of seniors in order to be able to provide those services. So what we're all about for the community is low cost, high impact solutions that engage the very population that needs these types of services.
Our guest on the program today is the president and CEO of Catholic Social Services in Columbus, Rachel Lustig. And before we go any further, how can people get more information? Phone number, website?
Yes, please come to our website, colscss.org, or give us a call at 614-221-5891. We would love to hear from you if you're in need of our services or if you're looking to be a part of helping us out.
And we will give the phone number and the website address a couple of more times during the program. So if you want to write those down, just make sure you grab a pen or pencil now, and we'll give you those addresses again for Catholic Social Services. As long as we're talking about the senior support right now, there are times, and even I was looking at your website, and you had some video of a lady on there who said, I saw this kind of stuff on TV, and I didn't think it would ever happen to me, but there came a time when I was making a choice between food and medicine. Well, that should never happen.
Right. Best laid plans. I mean, that was Anne's story, and Anne got sick sooner than she had anticipated retiring. Mm-hmm. And so she didn't have the financial buffer that she had intended to have when she was desiring to retire. So she gets to this point where she's no longer able to work, and she doesn't have the cushion to be able to support herself. The issue became the home that she was in was no longer affordable. Mm-hmm. So what Catholic Social Services was able to do was to find her a new place to live, at which point she was able to build a new budget and she was able to care for herself in a way. Nobody should have to get to that point where, because of an illness or an unfortunate circumstance, they find themselves in a place where they can no longer care for themselves. All it took in Anne was just that help to get to a new equilibrium, and that's what Catholic Social Services was able to do.
Now, do you have employees and volunteers who work with the organization and sit down and talk with people and counsel them?
That's exactly right. So we've got about 60 people on staff. And with last year, we had over 160 volunteer hours. So if you're a mathematician, you would know that I am more than doubling my staff capacity through the efforts of volunteers. And a lot of what we do is provide that one-on-one assistance. So many of our volunteers are providing one-on-one time in the home or in schools, doing the type of work that really just helps us to be present to people and help them to reach their goals. That's our underlying mission is about helping people reach their potential. Mm-hmm. In order to be able to do that, we have to be listening to what people want to reach their potential, what that goal is for themselves, and then walking with them in order to be able to do that. Requires time and patience, but more than anything, it requires the ambition of the desires and being in line with the desires of the person that we're working with.
Now on to a subject that we're hearing a lot about these days. I mean, you work a lot with the immigrant community. There must be a lot of fear and uncertainty right now among that community. There
is. There's a lot of unknowns at this particular point. There have been changes in policy, in federal policy. There have not been changes in federal law, but there's a lot of talk about whether or not that's coming down the pike. And messages can sometimes be confusing or interpreted in a wide range of ways. So there's just a lot of sense of what's going to happen to maybe a family member. I, as a U.S. citizen, have a family member who's here who may need who may need assistance getting to a new legal status. For example, we have in our community a person who was here on a work visa, started his own business, and when the time came for him to renew his visa, he was struggling to choose between capital investment in his small business and the cost of renewing that visa. He decided to and at that particular point, it seemed prudent to him to invest in his business, and consequently, he let his visa expire. Well, now it's a different situation for him, and the day of the new presidential executive order, he was taken into custody. So there's just situations that people who came here legally may be dealing with instances like that, where all of a sudden there are changes and there are unknowns, and they're not exactly sure how to respond.
I would assume, though, as Catholic Social Services, when someone comes to you for help, you don't ask whether they're a U.S. citizen or not.
There are a lot of questions we don't ask. We don't ask if they're a U.S. citizen. We don't ask what their religion is. We ask if they're hungry, and we ask if we can help. That's what our mission is about.
Where do you get your funding?
A combination of places. So we do work in partnership with many donors, many very generous people in our community, many individuals and corporations and foundations. We do also get support from our government partners at a variety of different levels. So when we find an effort that we believe in and we want to put it together, we'll do our best to advocate across a wide range of partners to be able to build that initiative.
Mm-hmm. And talk about the Catholic community in Central Ohio and how the Catholic community gets involved with the social services.
Well, the Catholic community really does get excited and take ownership of what Catholic Social Services is doing. It is very much a part of our tradition to care for the poor as an expression of our faith. So many of our volunteers and donors and partners are members of will support our efforts in a wide range. They will stock shelves. They will be a part of that visitations and on our board. But they'll also refer people when they know somebody is in need of our help. They take a lot of pride in the fact that they can count on the quality of care. Our work, we say, is done with two primary values. It's done with compassion, and it's done with an impact. So we're going to walk with people, and we're going to do our best to be present to their pain and suffering, and then we're going to walk, and that impact is about helping them to get to a better place. So our Catholic community really takes ownership of those values. The belief that they have drives them to that exact same place. But it's also, we'll work together with partners of many faiths and traditions.
With us on the program today is the President and CEO of Catholic Social Services, Rachel Lustig. And Rachel, again, the phone number and website address to get more information.
Our website is colscss.org, and our phone number is 614-221-5891. We hope you give us a call.
And if there's someone out there who says, boy, I would like to get involved as a volunteer, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I have any special skills, or what sort of volunteer opportunities do you have for people?
We have what we need from people who would be willing to do visitation is a willingness to make a commitment to another person. Mm-hmm. And people of all skills and persuasions and values can do that. We also need support in our office. Getting prepared for our gala in a week requires some just manpower of getting together and helping one another out. So there are a wide range of opportunities, as well as some of the more strategic opportunities for helping us, think through how we can continue to serve our mission in new circumstances.
Now, in less than a week, coming up this coming Saturday, you have your Spirit of Hope Gala. Tell me about that.
Our Spirit of Hope is our main fundraiser of the year. It's an opportunity that we have to bring the community together to celebrate what we've accomplished and to engage them in that. We're really proud of some of the things that we've done this last year. We've been able to expand the new Our Lady of Guadalupe Center. We've taken on a new program called the Foster Grandparent Program, and we've over the course of the last 2 years, we've grown our services to our senior population by 26%. So this gala is an opportunity for us to come together with those who've helped us to get there and really celebrate that accomplishment. So we'll be hosting a dinner and a party on March 11th, starting at 6:30 p.m., and it is at the Hilton downtown.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun and a good opportunity to help social services out. One other aspect I wanted to ask you about is, I know that you do a lot of work with domestic violence victims, and you have a program called Pathways to Hope. Tell me about that.
You know, it's funny, Mark. It's one of my favorite programs because I think sometimes if you're truly going to be able to make a change in some people's in a person's life who's really had a tough situation, that it's going to require an intensive level of care. Mm-hmm. And this Pathways to Hope program does just that. It works with people who've come out of our Choices Community Domestic Violence Shelter, and they're people who are willing to work, and who have children, and we will work with them. We'll work with a transitional housing program and with intensive case management, and really help them to get to a different place, to reach that potential, to achieve those goals that they have for themselves. The program has the capacity and does often break cycles of poverty and violence in people's homes. It's a transformative program that happens first and foremost because of the people who are involved in it, who believe in that. You know, we talk about our spirit of hope, and hope is the ability to imagine a new possibility. That's what drives the success of this program. And then it's our case managers just kind of helping them to piece it together, to create those opportunities and build a new path to that future.
How are those people referred to you?
Directly through the Choices Domestic Violence Shelter. Okay. So if you are dealing with violence, please feel free to give Choices a call and get the help that you need and get connected to a network of support that we're involved in.
And the future of Catholic Social Services, what do you have coming up in addition to dealing with all the problems, especially with an aging population, with an increase in seniors? I imagine you're looking at an increase in services as well, or at least a need.
Well, Mark, if I could say what my dream would be, the future for Catholic Social Services is that no one would need our care and support. But until we get to that place, Catholic Social Services has a strategy where we're saying we're going wider for seniors and deeper for families. And wider for seniors means that we need to be prepared to take our high-impact, low-cost solutions to a larger population of people. Mm-hmm. I mentioned to you that we've served 26% more seniors in the last 2 years. We've got to prepare ourselves to be able to continue to take on a larger number of people. So that's where we are about when we say going wider for seniors. When we talk about going deeper for families, it's about taking that relationship or that instance or that encounter that we have with our families and recognizing that oftentimes the presenting symptom, like somebody coming for food to one of our pantries, is not the whole story. And we've got to be able to get at the cause of what's truly bringing them to our midst. And what we've been able to do is expand Our Lady of Guadalupe Center. We've also expanded our St. Francis Center. We're going to be opening a center on the west side for the Our Lady of Guadalupe Center that's 3 times the size of our current location. But it's also about increased services. It's also about those deeper services that can help the Hispanic community, I think, reach their potential and consequently really encourage and strengthen our overall community.
Once again, the phone number and the website address for Catholic Social Services.
Our phone number is 614-221-5891, and Catholic Social Services website is colscss.org.
Our guest on the program today has been the president and CEO of Catholic Social Services, Rachel Lustig. And Rachel, thanks so much for taking some time and giving us more information about some very important services in our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark.
You've been listening to Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about the show, you can drop us a line in care of this station at 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. Again, that's Columbus Concerns in care of this station, 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. I'm Mark Nuce. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you again next week for another edition of Columbus Concerns.